Alright, so in this video, I'm going to explain how to beat the dungeons in the Ant Raid dungeon, as I've seen a lot of new players asking for help, or just seen in general how to beat the dungeon in a more simpler or easier way. And as we all know, or as some people who don't know, the what's it called? The Ant Raid, or the Ant Island, gives a buff to all what's it called, all solo leveling characters, right? So we get a buff for every character that's here, alongside some random characters like the Monkey King and Ichigo. So my suggestion to this team, or to craft a team to do this, is Sun Jinwoo, Cha, and obviously Ichigo. Now, the only reason why I don't want Igris in this team is because I find that Igris has a hard time clearing even with his full AoE. And that is quite concerning to me, honestly, because when I first used him in the dungeon stage, I was seeing that he just basically wasn't clearing as much as I wanted him to. He was just straight up struggling to clear the armored enemies. And this is why I crafted this specific team. Now, obviously, your first goal will probably get the Biru familiar once you have enough, because this key will drop over time, and you do not need to buy the key considering the fact that it's 10%, and not only that, it will track your first missions no matter what. So as we bring in our team, which is Cha, Ichigo, and Sun Jinwoo, we also need one buffer and 2 farms. Obviously, fortune is preferred, but if you cannot obtain fortune, like I have on my a speedwagon for the longest time until like recently, it is still fine. But this is relatively the team that I suggest. Obviously, I have Vanguard Jinwoo and Igris here, but that's only because I do not have another Jinwoo right here. See, I don't have another Jinwoo at all, and this is my only Jinwoo, so I'm kind of at I'm kind of stuck here without it. So please bear with me for now. But obviously, you would want multiple placements on all of them. You wouldn't really want bigger, like crazier traits on them. You would want the bare minimum, I would say. You would want the 3 placements or 5 placements that Cha has, because they provide more clearing. And we want Exterminator for the very beginning. So if we don't really get Exterminator, we just kind of got to start the first wave and then restart it once it reaches wave 1, and we just kind of wait until that we get Alright, in order to keep this video short and simple and less than 30 minutes, because that's what I had the recording of for this video, I'm going to be doing a voiceover. So obviously at the very beginning we want Exterminator. You just want to reset until you get Exterminator, and that's pretty much the only beginning card we'll ever need to make this clear 100% successful. And you should be getting a modifier every 3 waves, which is 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, and 30. That's when you will get a modifier for each, or that's when you will get a modifier, and you should always choose a positive modifier, whether that be getting 3 random buffs or 2 random buffs, or just straight up damage, range, or SBA buffs. But yeah, on waves from 0 to 2, the very beginning to 2, you want to place down your farms and upgrade them until we reach wave 3, which the ants will start coming towards our base. That's when we will place down our Chas and our units and the rest of our units to, just kind of get the clear in, make sure that they're not really touching the base, and that should be around wave 5. And by then, we want to start upgrading our farms. We want to passively upgrade our farms while also putting upgrades into our Chas. And the reason why we want to put Chas first in our priority list is because our Chas have a very cheap ability at the very beginning at upgrade 5 that will help clear. Now, by then, you should probably have your Chas and your farms upgraded by then, probably around like wave 10. And by then, you want to focus on, obviously, your Ichigos and your Jinwoos. I suggest your Jinwoos, and you want to upgrade your Jinwoos all the way up to level 8. For me, specifically, I would target the Jinwoo where my Monarch Jinwoo is. The reason why I say that is because he is most likely to run into the boss first. Because through my many attempts, 50 plus attempts of doing the dungeon, I've had the Ant King on that side the most. So I suggest upgrading him first and leaving the auto upgrade on him. And if you have the Bureau Familiar, it'll obviously consume your summons and give him a damage buff. By then, you kind of have to upgrade every other unit, right? But we're not gonna max upgrade them. We want to leave our Jinwoos at level 8, and then we'll move on to our Ichigos. Our Ichigos we want to put at level 9. The reason why we don't want to max upgrade them is because from upgrade 7, they get a line. But once they reach upgrade 10, they become a small circle, and we don't want that. We want to wait for that at the very end. And you just kind of want to passively upgrade your units over time. Obviously, you can upgrade your supports. I have Rin. Rin is a good buffer for buffing both damage and range. If you have her, you can use her. Other than that, you kind of probably want somebody else who could do the same thing, not really doing much damage, pretty cheap, but also buffs your unit. If you don't have Rin, you can use a slow unit, like a cheap slow unit like Crocodile or whatever unit there is, preferably. But by then, you should upgrade. You should have your Ichigos. I don't know what wave it's gonna be, but you want to have your upgrades at wave, or you want to have your Ichigos upgrade at 9. Once Ichigo's at 9, we want to go back to our Jinwoos. Our Jinwoos, we're gonna max them out. By then, you should probably reach around 20s, right? Once we get 20s, once we get to wave the 20-ish area, we want to upgrade our Chas next. We want to get them to level 8. And the reason why we want to get them to level 8 instead of maxing them out is because at wave or at level 9, they get this really big cone, which is not really good in my opinion. And I'm pretty sure most people would say that upgrade sucks. So we're not gonna get that upgrade on our Chas. You could if you have extra money at the very end, but it's just one big like half cone, and it's just one hit, and that is not really good in my opinion. Or the attack is not really good unless you have extra money and just you don't care too much. But you want to guarantee your run, so upgrade them to level 8. By then it should be 30, right? We should be hitting the final marker of the stage, and that's when we're upgrading our Ichigos, right? Obviously, once the Ant King spawns and once it consumes all the rest of the ants, we want to upgrade Ichigo to level 10, and we should save. By then you should save 30k, but you should have 30k by then. But if you don't, save 30k. I can't stress that enough, because if you don't save it, you're probably going to struggle. But yeah, depending on how much extra HP the boss has, the first layer, which is the armor layer, it will tell you the maximum amount, right? The armor layer is always going to be less than 2 million. I don't think we'll ever reach any higher than that, but it'll most likely reach 1.6 million. And at that point, all you want to do is obviously just wait for the boss to come in. But you also want to set your Jinwoos and Ichigos to bosses. You want to set their priority to bosses. And the reason why you want to set it to bosses instead of first is because The priority system is all wacky, right? If a random ant comes through and reaches a range, your target might swap, your main DPS might swap to a whole different like enemy. So you want to keep it at bosses. And by then, usually they'll come by, and obviously, you kind of want to see how far away they're from Ichigo's range. The closest Ichigo you want, exactly. You want to get the closest Ichigo to that range, and you kind of want to measure out how far are they from it, right? It's not that far, but you kind of want to press their ability, right? Because obviously that's their damage buffer, and once you hit them, obviously you'll see their 8 million armor thing gets shred down to like 1, right? Because that's the max HP at the very end once you get rid of the armor. And by then you should just activate the other one, the closest second one to it, right? The closest second one towards the boss. And obviously you just kind of let it go. You'll be at 1 stock, but once again, like, you can't use another Horn of Salvation. They won't allow you to do it, and by then your targets will most likely be on the Ant King, while the Chaws clear the leftover units. But once you kill the Ant King, it's pretty much GG's, and yeah, it's pretty much over. But to get to clear out some issues that to clear up some stuff for people who might have questioned, some people might ask, why don't you use Igris, or why don't you replace Cha? The reason why I say that is because, or the reason why I don't do that is because Igris is expensive. So if you choose Exterminator and you have an Igris, Cha, and Jinwoo, Igris and Jinwoo are too expensive. You barely will be able to upgrade, and I find that his full AoE is terrible. His full AoE is terrible in helping to clear the waves of armored enemies, of armored ants. So that's the reason why I don't choose him. And with them being both expensive, you might say, oh, why don't you use Money Surge? Because that is also reliant on the damage modifiers. You need to get damage modifiers, or else you just straight up lose. I've tested that team specifically for quite a while, and I've failed every single run because I don't have enough damage. I either don't have enough damage, or my SPA is too high. So that's the reason why I don't use that team. And now you might say, why don't you replace Cha for a different unit like Ichigo, and just have Jinwoo and Igris? Jinwoo, Igris, and Ichigo, because that's another team I've seen. Same issue. You're not gonna have that wave clear at the very beginning. Cha is the cheap wave clear unit at the very beginning that also has damage. So if you get rid of her, your clear is out of the way. And if you focus on, let's say, I don't know, Ichigo, right? You would have to focus on Ichigo on getting to wave, or getting to 9, so that he has damage and has a large cone. But once again, that's a lot of money for one unit, when you can just spread that across 5. And also, Jinwoo and Igris are too expensive, right? So getting the max upgraded especially with the Exterminator, is not really good. And especially if you go the Money Surge route, you have to rely on the damage, because the 50%, basically the 250 damage modifier that you get, or damage, is it 250? I think it's 250. Yeah, a 250 plus damage modifier, you're missing out on that, which is kind of insane if you think about it, because there's 5 opening tunnels and you can close 5 of those tunnels. But if you get Exterminator, you get 250 damage for everything. So that's the reason why Exterminator is low-key better than everything else. Yeah, and I've seen a different team going Gohan. I've seen a team with Gohan where it's Jinwoo, Igris, and Gohan. That team is also not good. The reason why is because they're expensive once again, and also your clear is Igris, which is not really good if you think about it. You would have to spend so much money to get Igris at level 9 just for him to get full AoE, which is too expensive. So that's why I suggest this team. But hopefully, you know, if you find a different team, try it, go for it. Maybe it's even better than this team, but this is the team that I've cleared the dungeon with, and I've had 100% clear with. Even if I had 1 to 2 damage modifiers, I still passed through. And I even went AFK sometimes, and I just straight up beat it. AFK as in I literally just was in the middle of a clear and I just walked away, and I had to do something. I literally just walked away and I just finished it. I beat it, but like not even fully upgrading all my units. Obviously it was towards the later end of the stages, but you know, I still beat it. But yeah, other than that, if you guys enjoy, like the video and sub, that means a lot to me. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.